Hello, everyone. Thank you for checking out this episode of Really Dicey. I'm here back with Jay Parker. Thank you for joining us again. Um, Today, we're going to talk about his creation, G Core X, a superhero RPG. I love the name. Very Marvel DC-esque. Yeah, tell us about this. What is it about this game that stands out from the rest of other systems?
So I think it was like 12 years ago. Phil Reed did this thing where he held FaceRip for ransom or something. So we all put in money, and he developed like FaceRip, like a basically a modernized version of FaceRip. But it was during the OGL craze. So there was this weird like when people started talking like, oh, make it OGL, and it's like, yeah, let's not make it OGL because then you're just going to have lots of crap. And what ended up happening was it went nowhere. He released it, but it just didn't go anywhere. And it wasn't his fault. It was during the OGL craze. So people were like, it was like, you're going to release a core book, like 10 core books with the exact same text. And that's what people were looking at doing. And I'm like, I can't be part of this. So I took a step back, and I've been messing with different superhero mechanics and stuff. And I took Phil's stuff, bastardized it with some of the stuff I've been toying with, and created G Core. And so G Core originally was a point-based character creation system, which now, of course, it's not. Um, but it was an homage to the classic Marvel TSR game. So when we released it, we didn't think it was going to do anything because none of the other stuff we've done like ever took off. And in the first month, I think we sold 500 copies or whatever. And I'm like, what the heck? And then we realized we better clean this up. So we put out Deluxe, which kind of expanded it a little bit more powers and stuff. And that needed expansion. So 5 years into it, we put out G Core Prime, which I thought G Core Prime was great. And then I went back and looked at the book as I was prepping X, which is the current one, and it was just a cluster. It was still a mess. So I took a year, and I wanted a 10-year anniversary book for G Core. And we don't even have the regular book out in print yet. We only have the one that was available at Drive Through. And we built this. I went through, edited every chapter. I cleaned up the rules and mechanics. Went through and took everything I used for other companies, but not for my own company, and I applied the requirements. You had to have the professionalism in the book. And so we ended up with this monster here, G Core X. The bookstore version, which I have yet to release, that actually has a cover by David Miller, who
Hmm.
did a book cover for us a while back for Stairs of the Immortal, and he worked for TSR back in the day. And David is fun to work with. He's a great guy if you've ever met him. And I feel horrible because it's like I'm sitting on this because all the other stuff I've been doing for other publishers had to come first. So, and of course, in the process of doing this, it's like, oh, look, we found some stuff we could adjust in the book. So I'll put out an errata at some point for people who bought this version, so that way they have the adjustments. So that's where it stemmed from. I mean, we used to play classic Marvel. My business partner and we played all through middle school. In high school, we had we had boxes of legal pads and notebooks packed full of characters. We had 200 characters in a notebook. And I remember he left for the army, and we went through and we did Mortal Kombat with all our characters and killed everybody. So it
Oh,
was
that's
like death
awesome.
matches for an entire weekend, and we didn't sleep. It was just nonstop death matches. And he had this great planet of robots, and I used a character that had feeble stats. He had class 5,000 energy absorption, and I dropped him on the force field and just had him suck all the power out of the planet and killed everybody. He's like, killed my planet. It's like, that's cheating. It's like, dude, all his stats are feeble. All he did was lower him down carefully not to break him onto the force field and let him go to work.
Hmm.
So yeah, we may have been ridiculous back in the day, but that's G Core was spawned from all of that. Uh,
Okay. So let's talk about the combat system. How would you best describe the rules for that?
Rules are really simple. We got rid of the table, and we just made it basically lots of like static rules. You just take a D10, counts as a percentile. It's the only die you need in the whole game, so you can play with a single D10. And we did that because back when we used to play Marvel, we'd go camping. That was back before the
Hmm.
days of printers at
Hmm.
home. So you didn't want to take your Marvel book on a Boy Scout camping trip because it always rained. So we're like, let's take out the table. So it's a D10, so it's your stat plus your special focus plus a D10 percentile. And then the GM will roll a static roll that applies to whatever the difficulty is, or whatever. If you're attacking like an NPC, it's applied to whatever their stat would, like a base stat. So if you're attacking someone, the GM, if the person isn't dodging, rolls the percentile plus agility, and then the player has to roll above that. And so basically, the GM just spends a lot of time just like dropping dice, but there's no like, wait, I have to roll. It's just you just drop dice nonchalantly as it's going, and then continue the story through. So it's really just it's a simple base mechanic.
Okay. I Let's talk a little bit about the character creation system. Now, I play previous superhero games, and there's always that one player that wants to have the Superman like character to be the most
Yep.
powerful and everything. How does your game balance that?
With weaknesses, Superman has kryptonite. Um, like if you're gonna have like a mega hero, I think it actually requires under the legendary rules where you have to choose a weakness. You cannot be like super powerful. So even the demigods in here, when they're away from their actual realm or their wherever they're from, like whichever godly world they're from, they actually start suffering penalties because they're not there anymore. So we kind of do it that way. And demons, I think demons doesn't work quite that way. Demons, they answer pretty much they have to answer to a higher power. So even demigods answer to higher powers and gods. So if you're not following what you're supposed to be doing, you're punished by more powerful beings. So anything that's mega powerful, there is a catch to keep them from going overboard. And so that's how it plays out. In the case of like the super alien, then it would be a matter of just a weakness. If you're making them like super powerful, the game does allow you to play all the way up into like a Galactus style character.
Wow. So how does the system deal with, like, let's say someone wants to be a robot or an alien or a ghost, any of those odd variants of in the superhero world?
Oh, they are all in here. I put so much ridiculous stuff in here. Um, I pretty much went on the G Core Facebook page and said, I'm updating G Core to G Core X. If there's any origin that you want, make a list. And so we piled them in here: AIs, aliens, super aliens, angels, avatars. We have um, voodoo spirit things in here where you've made deals with voodoo spirits, um, cosmic heroes, elementals, gods of all sorts. We have Hellbrand, which was like a one-off one shot I did. I added them to this. We have kaiju. You can play giant dinosaurs. We have sentient mecha. We have spirits of, so you can choose like anything you want, and you're the spirit of that. And then a whole list of human super things, and then undead, which is my favorite. And then we have yokai in here. There's other ones as well, but there's a pile.
Okay. So it's you just need that one book.
Yep,
Do you need
that's
other
it.
books? Yep. Okay.
I'm a firm believer in if you're going to do a book, they should not have to buy another book to play the game.
Okay.
So
And
everything else after that is all modules and stuff. So
do players need like a extensive history of comic books in order to play this game?
no, I'm ever you can be a horror junkie and play a horror character.
Hmm.
Um, there's we put out this module with G Core Prime. It was like an Italian horror module where all it was tables based on all the Italian horror films, and it was everything from setting up the game itself to what type of people you bump into, to what type of monsters there'd be, to why those monsters exist. Right down to what is the final boss. So you could have like a spirit running around tormenting characters, and you're having to deal with that like playing survival horror, and then the final boss could be an alien.
Hmm.
So it kind of plays like almost like American Horror Story touches on topics like that in their season two, with the whole aliens and Satan thing. So
Oh, okay. How many pages is this book?
this book here is 196 pages.
Oh, okay. Okay. And for anyone that's interested in learning more about this book, where can they go online?
You can go to dillygreenbeangames.com and click on G Core, and it'll take you to the G Core page and explain a little bit about it. We have two Facebook we have a Facebook group for G Core and a Facebook page for G Core. Um, and I think we have a Facebook group for G Core, which has a whole bunch of fan files. So I run Marvel events at TotalCon on Saturday mornings for kids using G Core. So all those files got loaded to like a fan page.
So, yes, viewers out there, thank you for taking time to watch. I hope this was fun, and be safe out there. Be careful. Have a good day.
Have a good one. Thank you very much.